to another episode of the Movie Geek Podcast. I'm your host, George T. And as you saw from the thumbnail, this is the year in review. I know we've got a few weeks left, but as I mentioned in a previous podcast, I am taking a couple weeks off. But I am going to come back a lot sooner than I probably wanted to because of Stranger Things Part 2 coming out on Christmas Day. So I will have probably an episode ready to go for that following Monday, right before the series finale on New Year's Eve. So I know what I'm doing on New Year's Eve, and it's going to be an emotional New Year's Eve as we culminate through the end of 2025 and into 2026. So there is that. I will touch briefly on the weekend box office report here, but I also want to go through my top 25 that I saw for this year. And granted, I did not see obviously some of the award nominees because they're coming out in the next couple weeks, and I will mention those in the box office report. But from what I've seen so far this year, and I've seen a lot of movies, and telling you right now, next year I will keep track of how many movies I've seen. So I probably should have done that earlier in the year, but I did not. So here is your chance to like, comment, subscribe if you have not, and I'll get into some of that stuff from how this season changed so much with the visual part and that sort of thing. But anything you guys want to see next year, maybe another live show, or I'm going to try a little harder to try to see if I can't get maybe a few more guests. I know I would love to be able to get guests, and I was able to get a few this year, and I will thank them very shortly. But season 2 here on YouTube has been great. I stopped doing the Spotify one because I went through Buzzsprout last year, and then I transferred over to Spotify, but it became much more of a hassle than anything, and I just stopped that. Maybe I might go back to it depending on, if any of you don't really want to see my face and want to hear it, maybe I will go back to seeing if I can post to Spotify. I still have that account. Anyway, so box office report, my top 25, and then some analytics from this past season, and special shout outs as well. So let's get cracking. So again, Stranger Things has taken up a lot of the reason why I'm stopping this now, so that I can get prepared. Also, I'm also prepping for award show previews as well. So I've been trying to cram as many movies in from those lists as I possibly can, and I've been really cramming it in there. So as of the box office from this past weekend, we've got at number 5, holding strong, is Now You See Me, Now You Don't. It made $2.3 million. It stayed in the 5 spot. Number 4, and this is very strange to me, a very small independent film that I did not know was out there. It's also a foreign film. It was 9th last week, and it is called Durhonder. I have no idea. 3.4 million it made, so it jumped 5 spots in the box office. We also have staying strong at number 3, Wicked for Good at 8.5, and then we flip-flopped 1 and 2 from last week. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 drops from 1 to 2 at 19.3. And again, if you saw my short and last week's episode, it's going to propel backwards unless you are a Five Nights at Freddy fan. That's just how it goes. The lore, and it was more for the fans of it. And I know there's been some critics out there who have said, don't make any more of these movies. But from a fandom perspective, they want to see more. So there is a third one coming up, and then there possibly might be a fourth one, because the creators are saying, you know what, we're going to make the movies we want to. Kill us if you want to, critically, but we're making money. I mean, it did. It's made, it's made at least, over, $120 million. So it's a lot for a critically bad movie. But again, it's because of the fandom. And rounding out the top 5 is number 1, number 2 last week, Zootopia 2 at $25.8 million. So Zootopia hanging in there. It is nominated for Animated Film of the Year. I have been watching K-pop Demon Hunter. I do have to see Demon Slayer before I can make my my prediction on that. So that is your box office report. Now, movies of interest for the next few weeks. So we have coming out this week, in very limited small release, but it's going to expand next week, is Marty Supreme. This is the Timothée Chalamet movie, and he's been getting some Oscar buzz because he's been nominated for Golden Globes and a Critics' Choice Award for Best Actor. It is about Marty Masser in the 50s. He pursued a dream of becoming a champion table tennis player. So you have, based on the true story, Gwyneth Paltrow and Tyler, the Creator, are also in this film. Also releasing this week is This Thing On. So this is Bradley Cooper, Emily Blunt, Amy Sardis, and Sean Hayes, along with Will Arnett, who plays Alex, and Laura Dern, who plays Tess. Faced with middle age and impending divorce, Alex finds new purpose in the New York City comedy scene, while his wife Tess confronts the sacrifices she made for their family. So another one of these comedy movies, and a really good cast. So I believe this will do pretty well at the box office. However, last week I thought the same thing for Ellie McKay, but it only finished 7th. So again, it all depends on what people's appetites are for. And next week is obviously Christmas, so there could be a lot of travel too. So it could be maybe family-friendly movies like Zootopia 2, and we'll see. Releasing on Netflix this week, The Great Flood. This is pretty damn scary. The Great Flood is a South Korean film, science fiction disaster movie, and it's crazy. The trailer basically showing people's survival after a gigantic flood. Just wipes out half of Korea. For the kids, so this might be the number 1 movie for next week, and maybe the week after, but SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. Hoping to prove his bravery to Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob follows a mysterious swashbuckling ghost pirate known as the Flying Dutchman on a seafaring adventure that takes him to the deepest depths of the ocean. So if you're a SpongeBob fan, or you have kids who are SpongeBob fans, you will want to go see this movie, I guess. The Housemaid. A lot of people have been talking about this movie, hoping for a fresh start. A young woman, played by Sydney Sweeney, becomes a live-in maid for a wealthy couple who harbor sinister secrets. Brendan Skylander and Amanda Seyfried play the couple. Again, you know my thoughts on Sydney Sweeney, but she's kind of the it girl, but time will tell if that will continue. Just my opinion on that. So, finally, the big one is Avatar: Fire and Ash. Now, where to begin with this? The second one was not as good. The first one was so amazing in the IMAX. It was. 3D was incredible. Cameron should be applauded left, right, and center. He tried again, and now he's trying again. Now, I have heard that if this one does not do very well, then he will stop making Avatar movies, because he has literally, I think he said 3 to 4 more stories. I mean, how many more times can you go back to Pandora and kind of retell the same story? This one does look a lot more amazing, kind of on the level of the first one from the trailer. Now, probably will be number 1 next week, and the reason why is I'm going to explain that Marvel's Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer will be accompanying it. Now, I find it very interesting that Marvel is doing James Cameron a solid on this one. Now, they could have just put it out on the internet that day and kind of killed, some of the momentum. But I think fans will want to go see this. I have been seeing the memes on this where people are, buying tickets for Avatar just to see the trailer and then leaving because they don't want to sit through 3.5 hours of movie. But I think Marvel is doing Avatar a solid by doing this, because Endgame beat the original Avatar, then Cameron re-released Avatar to beat Endgame, and then Endgame is going to come back out, and I'll get to all that very shortly, but I think that's why their first one is coming out. So that is the small box office report. Now, on Christmas Day, some interesting movies that are coming out. We've got, obviously, re-releasing in the theaters, obviously, Christmas movies. However, 2 movies of interest. Songs Sung Blue. 2 down on their luck performers, played by Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman, perform for a Neil Diamond tribute band, providing it's never too late to find love and follow your dreams. Again, these are movies of note because Hugh Jackman, is a tremendous actor, and I would watch anything he does. Finally, and I can seriously not recommend seeing this movie enough. The trailer itself looks absolutely terrible. I don't know why studios would go ahead and greenlight such a project, but Anaconda is now a comedy. Jack Black and Paul Rudd, amongst others, in this film. It looks just dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. So there is that. Alright, so that is the next couple of weeks of box office for the Christmas week. And again, if you go and see Anaconda and you want to come back to this and leave a comment or wait for another show and you think you like it, feel free to drop one. Feel free to do it. Okay. So, as I was saying, with Avatar doing, Marvel doing Avatar a solid by playing it. I honestly believe that with the announcement of all these leaks from Marvel, there's also been a lot of fan trailers out there, listening to some of these leaks and some of these reports of what is to come for Doomsday. We know that Endgame is being re-released in September, I believe on September 26th, because this movie is going to be a direct link to Doomsday. So we are getting 4 teaser trailers. The first one is dropping on Friday with Avatar. It is Steve Rogers is coming back. In what capacity, though? And I will leave it at that because I want to discuss that when I talk about next year's top 25 that I am looking forward to. And I've been wishy-washy as far as the top 2 are concerned. Because you remember at the beginning of the year, the Odyssey, when it was announced, and that small teaser trailer, I was all over that. So I'll let you guys know what I finally decide is going to be number 1 and number 2. All right. The second trailer is coming out the following Friday after Christmas. It is the Thor one. So far we know Steve Rogers and Thor are going to be instrumental in this. The third one is Doctor Doom. And then finally, the fourth one is a full-on look at what is to come. So that is going to be pretty interesting that they're dropping 4 teaser trailers before they really release like a full longer trailer, which maybe they will do or maybe they won't. The reason why they're putting out Endgame again is because they're going to add a credit scene. Now it's either going to be a mid-credit scene or it will be an end credit scene that will link the 2 movies together. So get your popcorns ready because that is going to be huge for Marvel fans, because we already have seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, and now we're going to see Endgame one more time in the theaters, or several, because people are going to want to see it again, and then Doomsday. Now, originally Doomsday was supposed to be on May 1st, on my birthday. Disappointing. But there is going to be a movie on my birthday, and I will mention that when I do my top 25 for next year. That looks pretty good, and is supposedly going to be the best horror film of next year. You guys can decide that when it is time. And I will go into all the rest of what has been talked about so far with Marvel Doomsday. I mean, there is reports out there that there's going to be 6 different team ups in this, and the Doom team is a very interesting one because it's speculated that there's a few people in there that you wouldn't think, and then there's another one that makes a little bit more sense, but it's not confirmed yet, so I won't get all of that. But remember, Marvel's back. Marvel's back. Alrighty, so let's talk about top 25 movies I saw this year. Okay. So, number 25 was Hard Eyes. I actually did like this film. I thought it was, it was pretty much Scream meets Scary Movie, basically. It was pretty good, and Ashley joined me for that, and she gave her opinion and review on it. And if you hadn't seen that one, go back and see it if you're a new subscriber to that, or if you like the movie, let me know in the comments down below. Number 24, Ash, ASH. Um, this one was a little a little wild. Flying Lotus wrote and directed it, um, and yeah, it was a wild ride. Now, there may be a second one coming up, but you never know. You never know. 23, Friendship. Um, yeah, what a crazy movie Friendship was. And, it's never make friends with weird people who get themselves attached to you very quickly. Lesson learned. 22, Eddington. Look, if I see another movie about the pandemic and what we all went through during the pandemic, this one was very powerful, and it was a really true depiction of how people were, and people still are, about the world. And it's it was sad, but I thought it was pretty damn good. 21, Last Breath, based on the true story of the divers. Especially, I mean, the guy was clinically brain dead for like 27 minutes, and he survived, and has no brain damage of any kind. He actually went back in the damn water to finish the mission 3 months later. I mean, that takes some guts. Takes some guts. Number 20, Freaky Tales. Okay, this movie was so crazy. I wasn't sure I was gonna put this on the list, but just in all the cramming that I was doing for this, I just decided to put it on the list. It was either that or Sovereign. But I thought Freaky Tales was so interesting. Four integral tales that intertwined at the very end, and Pedro Pascal was in it. You also had Tom Hanks in the third one. That was pretty odd to see him in, and then the fourth part, or the fourth tale, talks to this one magical night that Sleepy Floyd from the Golden State Warriors had. He was nicknamed Superman that night because he beat the Lakers in a playoff game to stave off elimination, and then basically was a ninja and killed a whole bunch of skinhead Nazis that night. That's why I'm saying it's such a weird movie. Actually, Floyd actually played his father in this film, and I thought that was pretty cool. So obviously the director and writer knew Sleepy Floyd and thought it would be interesting to do this kind of thing. So number 19 was Sovereign. What another weird movie. You've got a father who basically is trying to be anti-government. He knows his laws, he knows his rights, but he just goes about it in a very unconstitutional manner, and eventually the sad reality is he dragged his son into it, and obviously they die at the very end. If you haven't seen it, I just spoiled it for you, sorry. But is definitely a good watch, but it's scary to think that there are probably people out there that are trying to live off the grid, but know their rights and just don't want to abide by government law, but use it to their advantage when they need to. Number 18, The Luckiest Man in America. I love this movie. This is the true story um, of a guy who played brilliantly by Paul Walter Hauser. Just a normal guy who loved game shows, but he goes on prizes. He goes on Press Your Luck, and he figures out the pattern because he's been watching, game shows forever, and he noticed that there was a pattern in the board, and the network execs at first didn't want him on the air, but they eventually caved and let him in, and then they thought he was cheating, and they literally tortured this guy the whole time he was there, and they wanted to know if he was cheating, because nobody to that point had ever won more than, I believe it was $25,000 on TV. He won over $100,000, which was unheard of, which put a lot of pressure on CBS and its affiliates to stop that. Now, you've got all these shows that are giving away millions of dollars. So, but yeah, back in the 80s. I know they don't play that show anymore. If you find it, it's probably somewhere hidden in a banned section somewhere, because every time the show is played, they have to give a fee to the family, and so obviously they're not going to. But there's been plenty of documentaries out there. I mentioned it when I did that episode. So if you go all the way back to, I believe it was March or so, there you have that. 17, Train Dreams. This is also up for Best Picture at the Critics' Choice Award. It was really good. It was also very sad. This guy is a lumberjack who, living in the Northwest Pacific, and he just wants to provide for his family. And he builds a nice home down by a waterfront, down by a river bank. He goes out for a job, and he comes back, and there is forest fire that burns down his home and ultimately kills his family. And he relives the whole thing of, why wasn't he there? And, he's waiting for them to come back. He rebuilds just to see if they come back. He also went out and looked for them for years. So, and then, finally when he had enough, the days of him swinging an axe was pretty much over. It was chainsaws and obviously logging equipment and that sort of thing. So that time had passed him by. Number 16, The Amateur. I did like this film. It wasn't the best spy film. I will talk about that when we get to the top 5. But it was good. You have Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne, and just a nerdy kind of guy who worked for the government, and his wife is taken, and he needs to killed. Actually, she was killed. He needs to find out who did it. His superiors are all like, we'll figure it out, and of course he does. But Lawrence Fishburne trains him to be kind of an assassin who he really he really doesn't gravitate toward, but he finds his own niche. He kills in a very different manner, and he gets the job done in a very strange manner. So that was good. Number 15 was Companion. AI robots, or in this case, a love bot. Very unique concept, where she murders a friend of her boyfriend, and we find out that it was a plot to get Batman's money and then pin it on her because she was a robot. But she, figures that out on her own. Her AI brain figures all this out, and it just unravels from there for the humans in this film, and ultimately she survives. But it was good. 13 and 14 are the two Predator movies. So we have Badlands and Killer of Killers. As I mentioned in my Predator Badlands episode, and I also talked about it briefly in Alien Earth episode. If you haven't seen those, go back and see them. Predator had a huge comeback this year. It came back already when Prey came out in 2023, and these two films have only elevated them more. We'll see another Predator movie probably in 2027, maybe 28, I don't know, but there will be that. And then eventually there will be a crossover between Alien and Predator. So we will see a badass Alien and Predator movie because they are in sync right now. Aliens is back on the map with a wider net than following the originals, and Predator now has also done the same thing. So look for both of those franchises to continue forward until they meet head to head. Okay, a movie I did not have on my list of anticipated, but it was on my list of to see, but wasn't really excited for, and I wound up really liking it. The Naked Gun. Leslie Nielsen would be very proud. Liam Neeson and Pam Anderson were dynamite gold in this film, and it was a very much huge flashback and homage to the original Naked Gun show and the movies. So hats off to them for doing it. I wasn't really keen on seeing it, but I loved the original Naked Gun series and the movies. So reluctantly I went, and actually it worked out because it was my number 12. 11. Together. What a creepy film. But Alison Brie and Dave Franco did an amazing job with this film, and just so creepy. Go back and watch that episode. The Assessment was number 10. Elizabeth Olsen in this film, and just the thought of population control by an assessor is very, very scary. A dystopian world where family or couples are trying to have children in a population controlled environment of the survivors. An assessor comes to the house and has to assess their whole dynamic, and then this assessor becomes the child that they're going to take care of, and it's just weird. It's just weird to think that that could ever be a thing. God, I hope not. And this one kind of fell a little bit on me, but number 9 was Weapons. Really good film. it was a really good film, and the ending was a little strange, um, with the kids chasing down um, Gladys and killing her the way they did. But really good film, definitely worth the watch and the Rotten Tomato score. Number 8, my only Marvel film of this year on this list. I know, shocker, right? I'm a Marvel fan through and through. Thunderbolts. Yes, Thunderbolts was the best Marvel film of this year. Captain America and Fantastic Four were on the outskirts looking in, but I just felt that Thunderbolts really captured the right foot forwarding of Marvel. Fantastic Four was okay. It was a lot better than the others three, and Captain America started the whole thing, but um, again, it was tying a bow together with two horrible films. The Incredible Hulk one that had Edward Norton, and the not very talked about um, anymore. Um, you know what? We don't even mention the Eternals. Oh, I did. Man, what a terrible movie. And rightfully so, Marvel has kind of just written it off. Number 7, Queen of the Ring. This was up in my top 5 for a while, this whole year. Um, True story of Mildred, who was the first woman professional wrestler that made $1 million in her career. Just the story alone, um, there's a lot of truth in there, where her husband slash manager was abusing her and taking advantage of her, wanted to take her money, that sort of thing. He was also a womanizer or whatever. But some of the other parts of it were not as, they were a lot played up. Like, unfortunately, one of the ladies, passes away in the, after sustaining a very traumatic injury on the floor, played by Deborah Allen Wall. I looked it up, and she didn't actually die. She did get hurt in that match, but she didn't die. So I wonder how the family thought about that. And I mentioned that in that episode. So if you hadn't seen that one, go back and see it. All right. Number 6, Wake Up Dead Man, which just came out on Netflix. I love the Knives Out series, and this one proves that it could continue. Rian Johnson didn't do so well with Star Wars, but has done amazing work, and Wake Up Dead Man is definitely worth a look. Top 5, Black Bag, best spy movie of this year. What can you say? Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. Michael Fassbender has to defend his wife's honor, but also has to be very cautious that she could be the mole inside the intelligence agency. It was very well written, very well done. Definitely worth a look. Number 4 was Warfare. I love this film. Alex Garland did it again, based on a true story of one very hard night for the American forces in the war overseas, and you could feel you could just feel it throughout the film how how bad that situation was, and I think Alex did an amazing directorial job with it. Also, his writing partner Ray Martinez, who was the actual one of the actual members of that squad that was there, trying to tell this story about, his fallen comrades and, his comrades in general that that braved it out that day. So, Warfare, number 3. I'm at 4. Number 3, another Netflix movie, A House of Dynamite. Catherine Bigelow, again, with an amazing movie, told in different, from different points of view. It is pretty scary to think that it could possibly happen. It could. The likelihood of it, probably not. But it's a scary thought, and how, situationally everybody handled it. Did they handle it right? Did they handle it wrong? We don't know what actually happened at the very end. We can only assume what happened at the end, which is devastating. Number 2, Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro did it again with a masterpiece. This film should have been out in the theater. Somebody should have picked it up, but Netflix did, and what can you say? Oscar Isaac's portrayal of Victor as pretty much as a bad guy in this. He tried to do the right thing by trying to cheat death, and once he did, he realized it was a bad thing, and it's never a good thing to play God. And he became the monster in the very end, and you feel bad for the monster. So, and just really good acting in this film. Finally, Sinners, number 1. I mean, I don't really have to go through it, do I? I mean, I've said it all year. If you watched throughout the year, thank you. If you're one of my subscribers, again, thank you. If you followed me throughout the year and watched and not subscribed, why haven't you? But Sinners is definitely my number 1 movie of this year, and I'm very glad that it's gotten a lot of award nominations. So at least this year I won't feel as bad, because last year I had staked my horse to the Civil War movie and I got no noms. So at least this one does have some noms. So there is my top 25 for this year. Anything on that list that you disagree with, please let me know in the in the comments. There was a lot of good movies, I'm not gonna lie, but those were by far the best films this year. But let's go through this. I want to say big thank yous first, obviously, to you guys for watching and commenting on shorts and subscribing to this channel. I do appreciate it. If you guys can help out in any way, that would be great. I know some of you have shared some stuff, or maybe not you guys in general, but other people. I want to know why you're sharing things, and that's great. I'm hoping that this channel will grow. From the previous year, where I didn't have practically any video, and it was just audio, and you guys were just listening to this. But I also had a few members who were just on here to see the paranormal side. And if you are paranormal fans, and I mentioned this, I will have some paranormal stuff, and I am doing a ghost hunt investigation back at Letchworth Village the day after Christmas up in New York with a group of people, so that stuff will be coming up. But let us look at some numbers. So this channel gained 42 subscribers. Thank you. I gained that many. Now, maybe I lost a few and then some people came in, but I do appreciate the support, believe me. This channel this year also got 102,308 views. A lot of that was a lot of shorts, but again, thank you. Also, big shout out to my guests this year. Rich Keith, who is got his own podcast, the #Dork podcast, which is accompanied on my channel page. So if you click on my channel page, he is down there. He does an amazing job. He also works for WEEI, my radio station that I listen to. He does the midday show, Jones and Keith. So I do listen to them a lot when I am out. But thank you to Rich. Also, Charles Shabata and Jennifer Nagel for coming on, and we had so much fun. It didn't even become an interview. It was more of a yak fest, and those guys are amazing and talented, and I thank them tremendously for coming on, and hopefully they will be back on again. I've also got a shout out for my two guests that are my family. Number one, my little guy Austin, who did one of the cutest things. I'm going to show it here in a minute. On my live, we had 100 episodes. We had my 100th episode show in August. He was here. I'll show that preview in a second. Welcome into this 100th episode of the Movie Podcast. I'm your host, George T, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I have been extremely nervous about anything that could go wrong, probably, but so far, the only thing that's gone wrong is the way I wanted to put this together, but thankfully it's on. Come here, buddy. Say hi to everyone. See, you're my surprise. There you go. See? Hi to everyone. Awesome. All right. And also Ashley, who was a part of that as well, and my Hard Eyes review. We are going to be doing a Wuthering Heights one in February. Again, she was like, so I'm your Valentine's Day guest host. And I'm like, yes. And any movies that she wants to. Maybe next year we'll do some more guest hosts. That is completely up to you. Maybe we can try to do something like that. I don't know. I just want to try to get more stuff out there. I am at 126 shows right now for this podcast. So I figure next year it's going to be a whole lot more. I will definitely, most likely, I'm going to try to get to 200 next year. I know that's a lot, but my goal next year is to at least see one film a week in the theater and at least one streaming film. At least. Every weekend. And I think it's easily done. So 52 weeks in a year, that's 104 movies between one streaming and one movie theater. I think that can be easily done by me. And, when I get to the top 25 for next year, it's not a complete list because Netflix and Amazon do not have any releases after March on this list. So it's going to be topsy-turvy. With the top 25 that I just came up with, there was a lot of movies that I had, that I was anticipating were that did not make my top 25. Remember, my number one was Until Dawn. Honorable mention this year. It was good, but it wasn't that good. Like, it wasn't good enough to be in that top 25. You know, Happy Gilmore 2 was on there, which should have been on the other list. You know, the one, you know, I'll have to see, but wasn't really anticipating. I thought that was terrible, but you never know. But next year, I'm going to keep a better tab of it. I really should have kept a better log of the movies. So this year, definitely going to do that. So, yeah, it's been tremendous. So, some other stuff here. My top 5 shorts for this year, and I'm going to play them and give statistics.
So, James Gunn comes aboard from Marvel after his Guardians of the Galaxy run, even though he had had splashes in the DCU, or now DCEU. And so they bring him aboard as the Kevin Feige of the DC universe. So it's a good idea in theory. And I watched this movie and I kind of understand, again, both sides of the argument of whether it was good or it was bad. I think James Gunn does have a vision of what he wants for the extended DCU universe that he is creating. This movie stars Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, Joaquin Phoenix, Austin Butler, a laundry list of good actors in this movie. So this should be up in the top 5 by the end of the weekend. But again, hard to know. This trailer is very gritty. During COVID, a standoff between a small town sheriff and a mayor sparks a powder keg as it pits neighbor versus neighbor. So, but quite the star power in this one. The reviews have been really good on it. The trailer looks amazing.
So one of the weirdest interactions I've ever had with a celebrity happened when I met Linda Hamilton. She is from Terminator fame, Sarah Connor, and she was talking, and we had a good conversation. And then as soon as we were done, I went to go shake her hand. She reached over and grabbed my shoulders and like pulled me forward to give me a kiss, and it was almost on the lips, but I had turned my head because I was a little taken back by it, because I've never had a celebrity actually do that before. The key components to the rest of Phase 6 is going to be Spider-Man, the new one, Brand New Day, which comes out in July of next year, then obviously Doomsday, and then Secret Wars. Alright. Now, top 5 likes.
There is elements of the Scream, but there is also elements of other movies in there as well. Because of that comedic side, you mentioned that it is Scream meets
Scary Movie.
So Will experiences another vision of Holly and 3 other children being restrained by tentacles. And then there are empty spaces, of which there are 8 more. And again, he cannot put it together, but he now may be starting to realize that Vecna is after at least 8 more children besides Holly and the others. And once Derek is out in the open, the Demogorgons attack the entire base. And number 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, $63 million. Now, I was supposed to go with George to go see it, but he wanted to go with some friends, and he said he loved it. But he does understand where critics were coming in. Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 11 for a rating, but the audience score was near 90 by the end of the weekend. If you're not a Five Nights at Freddy's fan or never played the game and don't understand the lore, then this movie's going to go right over your head and you're going to hate it.
I also shot some shots this year. Didn't work out for guests, but maybe if I put these in here, if some of you guys are sharing this stuff, please somehow, some way, get it to the proper people. And I'm going to play them right now for you. So, you know, if you see this, I'm going to also hashtag it as well. There's going to be a whole lot of hashtags in this. So hopefully, you know, it gets around and we can get some more guests on for next year. Matthew Lillard come on the show and, you know, get to talk to him a little bit more. He has done so many things, and he's going to be doing another Five Nights at Freddy's, and George loves Five Nights at Freddy's. So, Matthew, you know, come on the show. I would love to chat with you about it. And also, what is up with Scream 7? Or whatever we're on now. 8, 9, 20, I have no idea. So, yeah. So I'm shooting my shot there for Matthew Lillard. And besides the fact that Ashley really likes Matthew Lillard, so there you go. Come on the show. Soleil Moon Frye, I would love to have you on my podcast. I've been a fan of yours forever. And hopefully this year in Rhode Island I'll get to actually meet you, you know, in person. But for the time being, come on the show. So you guys have to like, comment, share, tag, whatever you need to do. Let's see if we can't get Soleil Moon Frye on here. I know you have a podcast of your own, but I would love for you to come on my show. I've been a big fan of yours, and hopefully that we can like and share and comment and whatever we need to do to get you on here. And I know she's coming back to Rhode Island this year, so who knows? Let's see what happens. Jenna Elfman for a minute. So here's my shot here. I've been a big Jenna Elfman fan forever, from Dharma and Greg days. And I would love to talk to her on this podcast. So when I send out these shorts, if you guys could like, share, comment, I'm going to tag her on Instagram. Maybe she can come on the show. I would love to meet her or have her on the show. Just a genuinely lovely woman. And I know right now she's working on Dark Winds for AMC and Shifting Gears for ABC. So please, Jenna, come on the show. As I said previously, that this year we did the 100th episode one live, and that was pretty interesting. I really liked how it turned out. It got 81 views overall. And again, it wasn't so much the views, because I knew that, you know, trying to do it live, you know, I had previewed it beforehand, so and made it, you know, a premiere night. So that night, there wasn't a lot of views originally on it, and that's fine, and that's not what I did it for. I did it just because I thought it would be something special with, you know, 100 episodes, and I thought it was really, really nice to do, and I didn't have to go back and edit, so I just went with it, and it was really good. It really worked out. Alright, so let's look at the top 5 shows of the year. So my top 5 shows of the year, I'm not going to mention them, but I'm going to put them up here and I'm going to put the numbers underneath them. And truly, again, it's been a crazy ride, and again, I wouldn't want this any other way. You can blame Ashley for for this channel. She thought it would be a great idea to talk about what I really love, and again, I never set out to be monetized. I don't think I'll ever be, but it would be nice. But again, without you guys watching and stuff, I probably would, would still do this. But it's really nice to know that people are watching, especially I'm doing it also for AJ and George, to let them know that, hey, Dad went out on a limb and did something that he really is passionate about, and maybe they would think I'm cool, even though George might not admit it right now, but probably AJ would, because he's so young. When he gets to school or whatever, he'd be like, my dad's on YouTube, whatever. So again, thank you all. Definitely will need more subscribers, definitely more views. A lot of things I'm trying to cook up for next year, and obviously it'll start right after Stranger Things Part 2. The trailer looks absolutely amazing for it, and again, my theories could be wrong. We could be looking at this a whole different way. There's a lot more fan theories out there now that the trailer's out there, so we'll see what happens. And then I know what we're doing on New Year's Eve. Ash will come home from work, and we are going to sit down and watch this thing, and it's going to be emotional, that's for sure. And we'll have a little surprise that night, in the form of Greg's Death by Chocolate Cake that will probably eat our feelings afterwards. So, alright. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you at the movies.
You like that, baby? Let him know where I came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye. Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.